What is cryptocurrency and does it have a place in your portfolio? This is probably the most controversial asset of all. Some people are literally ready to die for it and have dedicated their whole life to crypto, while others shrug it off as magic internet money and are even saying only criminals would use it. What is the truth and how does it concern you and your investments? This is what we will talk about here. Before we dive in, I first need to explain two major points. The first one is that in this video, I will only be looking at the fundamental qualities of crypto and the reason why I put it in the category of the so-called by me insurance assets. And the second one is that I will be focusing on things like store of value, decentralization, censorship resistance, etc. And will mainly reference Bitcoin and perhaps a little bit of Ethereum. I will not be discussing the 1,000 different crypto projects and coins aimed at solving a specific problem like digital file storage, supply chain management, etc. So, with that said, what is cryptocurrency? The brief version is that in 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto put together a number of existing technologies with his own innovations added to the mix to create the concept of digital scarcity. There were a number of predecessors that solved parts of the problem, but this was the first one that put enough pieces together to become a big success. Who is Satoshi? No one knows. Perhaps he's not one person, perhaps it's a group of scientists, or perhaps it's a joint project between fractions of the NSA or CIA. Honestly, there are thousands of theories, but that's not what is important. The important thing to focus on is that a technology was invented that for the first time allowed public, digital, immutable, decentralized storage of information. This is what is known as the blockchain. Blockchain is like a shared public record of transactions stored across many computers. Each transaction is added as a block linked to the previous ones, creating an unchangeable chain that's secure and transparent for everyone involved. And because of that, for the first time, a form of money could exist that is digital and did not rely on a bank, credit card institution, or a central bank in order to be stored and exchanged online. That's how Bitcoin was born. Now, you might be thinking, but wait, crypto is what teenagers used to get rich. Why are you classifying it as an insurance asset? Well, after explaining what the blockchain is, we can now go to explaining the main qualities of Bitcoin that make it part of my insurance asset category. The first one is that it's a bearer asset, which you should know from previous explanations means that there is no counterparty risk. You hold it, you have it, and you can do whatever you want with it. You don't need the approval of a bank, credit card company, or a brokerage to move it around. Because of that, it is also censorship resistant. That means that you can literally send money to anyone in the world, in any country, and there isn't an authority that can stop you. A third very important quality is that, just like gold, when governments print money and devalue paper currency, the value of crypto goes up. It goes up by different amounts, of course, and in the past decade and a half, Bitcoin has wildly outperformed gold, but the idea is that it's a protection against inflation, money printing, and hyperinflation in general. Talking about gold, Bitcoin has been named digital gold because of the similarities it has with the yellow metal and its uses as a bearer asset that has no counterparty risk and is censorship resistant. However, there are three key differences I want to talk about which you have to understand in order to comprehend Bitcoin and crypto in general. Two of these differences are Bitcoin's advantages and one is a disadvantage. First, the disadvantage. Although crypto is pretty anonymous, as I said, the blockchain is a public ledger that anyone can open and check. Tracking transactions and addresses is hard, and especially certain types of crypto wallets, which we will talk about later, are not connected to ID documents. However, there have been cases where government agencies use private companies specializing in analyzing the blockchain and have been able to track down criminals. Now, this by itself is good, obviously, but it also means that there isn't the level of anonymity you have when you are giving a gold coin to someone in the forest. Whether that concerns you or not depends on where you live and what you want out of your cryptocurrency. Let's start with the advantages of crypto compared to gold. The first one is that if a person holds their crypto properly, they literally need to be tortured in order to have it stolen from them. This is a significant improvement compared to gold, where a thief can break into your house while you're not there and take your gold from you. With cryptocurrency, you can hold it on what is known as a private cold wallet, and it can only be accessed by the person having the so-called keys to it. This can be a special device which is encrypted with a code or even memorized phrases. If you hold it that way, A, no one will even know you have it, and B, even if you have your device stolen, since it's encrypted, the thief can't do anything with it. Here a lot of people get mistaken that the cryptocurrency lives on the device, and so if it's damaged or stolen, you lose your funds. But that's not the case. All cryptocurrency lives on the blockchain, which is a public network secured by what are known as miners. These miners solve algorithms and spend real-world energy to secure the network and mine new blocks from the blockchain and are rewarded for it. In that situation, your key is only a way to access your assets which are on the blockchain. But these assets don't live on your device or whatever else you use. Just like I have discussed previously with gold and centralized votes, if you plan on holding crypto, please don't hold it on centralized exchanges. This completely defeats the purpose of it. There is a saying in the community that goes like that: not your keys, not your crypto. This is the first ever digital asset which you can store and secure yourself. Take advantage of it. The second huge advantage crypto has over gold is that it's immensely easier to transfer. It's native to the internet, and so as long as you have internet connection, you can transfer value anywhere on Earth without intermediaries or a physical package traveling. This, combined with the previous first advantage, removes the biggest two drawbacks of gold, which forced it to get centralized over time. Unlike gold, Bitcoin is very easy to move and at the same time very hard to confiscate. For the first time in history, you can literally move through customs, airports, and even totalitarian governments' checkpoints and carry your wealth in your head. Then get to a more peaceful and democratic place, find a laptop, and make use of it. This is completely revolutionary. Now, a lot of people hear those qualities and immediately think it's a tool for criminals, but I'm extremely opposed to that view. You see, I'm a person who likes eating food and also likes camping in the mountains. When I engage in both activities, I use knives that help me. The same knives can also be used by me to hurt people. Do you want to live in a society that forbids knives? And are knives to blame? The argument that Bitcoin can be used for criminal activity is just as stupid as banning kitchen knives or banning physical cash. To illustrate what I mean, I only need to tell you a few of the thousands of stories of people escaping corrupt governments or war zones, having everything they worked their entire lives for taken away from them, but getting to safety with Bitcoin and being able to start a new life with it. The stories are too many to count, but for example, I read about this woman from Syria that literally had everything stolen from her on her way to Germany. I mean, even her wallet. When she got there, however, she was able to connect to the internet, cash out her Bitcoin for euros, and at least pay for rent, food, and new clothes, and start her life in Germany. Or the Reddit post I read after the war in Ukraine started, of the person who escaped the war, left his real estate, which was destroyed, had his debit cards, but the bank was not functioning, and literally the only thing he had was his crypto wallet. There are also countless stories of people running from hyperinflation or totalitarian governments in Venezuela or Argentina, or war-torn places like Afghanistan, or from political oppression in Iran. Bitcoin and crypto are not tools for criminals. They are tools for freedom. How you use them is up to you. Just like with knives or with cars. You can use your car to get your pregnant wife to the hospital, or you can use it to run over people while you're drunk. The decision is yours. It's not the car to blame, and I think we agree we definitely should not ban cars. Now, unlike the so-called Bitcoin maximalists, I am a rational thinking person, and I need you to know that by no means is crypto the be-all end-all of all assets and is indestructible. A very fun mental exercise I like to do when I talk to these people is to ask them the following question. What if all the developed world governments collectively decided to make it illegal? What then? Cryptomaniacs often like to focus on the technology and how the cryptocurrency cannot be confiscated. Fine, it's true. But they often lack historical, practical, and political understanding of the world. Bitcoin is great for protecting you against a single authoritarian state or a war-torn country. It excels as an asset class in helping you get out of there with your wealth. However, what if all governments decide to collectively make the use, sale, or storage of cryptocurrency a crime? What then? And to this question, I have never been able to receive a proper answer. Let's say you have 10,000 Bitcoins on the blockchain, but you cannot exchange them for money and you can't buy a loaf of bread with them. So, you have random digits on the blockchain with no ability to even pay your rent. If you think about it, there's no normal country in the world where you can take an illegal drug and go to an official exchange to turn it into currency. If the status of crypto becomes the same, it's game over. Another disadvantage of Bitcoin is that it doesn't produce anything. Just like gold that is buried in your backyard, it just sits there and does nothing. Now, There are other crypto projects like Ethereum and others, which have a kind of economic utility within their own network, but that's a separate talk for a separate video. So, with everything I just said here, what is my attitude and advice when it comes to cryptocurrency? I view it as the best asset in the world to protect yourself from unforeseen events like wars, political oppression, confiscation of private property, and others, if it is held properly. Because of that, I think it has a place in everyone's portfolio, but as part of the insurance bucket, not the get-rich-quick bucket. However, making it 80 or 100% of your portfolio is, in my opinion, stupid for the reasons I already outlined. With that, we conclude the insurance part of the portfolio from our Investing for Beginners guide. In the next video, we'll start talking about how to invest in productive assets that produce cash to pay for the life of your dreams. So click on the video that should have appeared on your screen already, and I will see you there.